Hey there, welcome to day 168 of our BU 365 day challenge to do one thing every day that improves us in some way. We're talking about RWB, relationship well-being. This month we're focusing on the relationship area and aspect of our life. And our topic today is to release the past and forgive. And so I'm going to share 3 ways to purge the past, whether it's a significant other relationship or a friendship or a falling out at work or moving on to a different business, whatever it is for you. All of it involves relationships, and we need to find ways to healthily deal with for us when relationships end. And I'm going to share 10 ways or 10 steps to move on peacefully, because we don't want to just move on and then struggle with repeated relationships. We want to move on in a healthy way that allows us to get involved in the relationships that are right for us, especially after being involved in a relationship or relationships that are wrong for us. So I'm going to start with the 3 ways to purge the past. And I got this on the internet. Don't remember the source, actually. Sorry about that. Hanging with my granddaughter yesterday. My kids have gone to Alaska. Or my son didn't go. He broke his leg. But my daughter-in-law, okay, stop. I don't have a daughter-in-law. I have a daughter and I have a son-in-law. They went to Alaska, and I'm watching their 1-year-old granddaughter, and I'm hanging out with my 7-year-old granddaughter today as well. So my brain's a little fuzzy. I don't know, hanging around with 1 and 7-year-olds makes me a little less eloquent than usual. Not that I'm ever eloquent, right? So let's talk about 3 ways to purge past relationships, and then we'll talk about 10 ways to peacefully resolve relationships, to let go of the past, to release the past, and move on in ways that are right for us. I wish I would have had that 10 ways list when I got divorced from my husband. I would have gone through that process a whole heck of a lot faster. And this is just one woman's strategy for how she dealt with the end of her primary relationship. It's going to be a little bit different for each of us, but I love learning other people's processes because it helps me to understand how I do things as well. So I love this quote from, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Thantun Nitch or something. The amount of happiness you have depends on the amount of freedom you have in your heart. And remember, forgiveness. I'm not going to talk much about forgiveness today, even though it was in the topic. We talked about forgiveness a lot in the past, and you can always Google it and learn why forgiveness is important for us. But forgiveness, that's the key. Forgiveness is for us. It's not for anybody else. It's for us to forgive ourselves for the role we played in the situation and to peacefully move on. All right, so what are these 3 ways to purge, or 3 ways to purge past relationships? Number 1, accept responsibility for your past. Okay, I'm divorced. I chose him. At the time, he seemed like the perfect person for me, and it was only over 25 years that I realized, oops, maybe that wasn't the best choice and the best decision for me. So I accept my responsibility for what went right and what went wrong in that relationship, because I played a part in both what went right and what went wrong in it. Number 2, acknowledge your emotional ghosts. We all have emotional ghosts and emotional baggage and residual relationship baggage, I like to call it, because we bring with us who we are all the time. And if we don't resolve the issues that we had in one relationship, we will inevitably bring that baggage into the new relationship. I love that. There's some graphics and some memes that go around the internet about baggage and relationships. And the thing is, all of our experiences pile up and stay with us our whole life unless we choose to not let them affect us. And we have the ability to choose that. And finally, 3, differentiate yourself from the ghosts of past relationships, right? You are not your experiences. You are an accumulation of all of the experiences that you've had. The good, the bad, the ugly, the traumatic, the dramatic, the awesome. You are a combination of all of those, and what you choose to show in the world and bring with you as you move forward in the world, becoming the best version of yourself, is entirely up to you. Yep, people outside of us can have a huge impact on us, but only if we let them, right? I'll give you an example. Last night, it's the first day that my granddaughter's parents went to Alaska, and we figured out now that with her, whenever she goes camping, whenever she goes somewhere to stay, whenever she like to her grandparents whenever she is just with me instead of her parents if they're gone or something, when they went on their anniversary trip, etc. It takes about 2 days for her to get used to the new situation, for her to get back to a little sense of normalcy in her routine. Well, the same is true for all of us. I mean, if it takes a 1-year-old 2 days, maybe we can cut ourselves some slack and spend some time and energy getting ourselves back on course, the course we choose for ourselves. So let's talk about the 10 ways to peacefully move on from a relationship. This could be, like I said, any type of relationship. Number 1, practice releasing regret. These first couple, if I would have heard these and really done them and thought about them, my divorce ramifications would have been more like a year instead of 10 years, right? I wouldn't have spent a lot of time and energy going back and forth in the grieving process and the grieving steps. If I had known this process, it's a great process. It's great steps to get through. And again, just like the grieving process, you'll go back and forth on the steps. But number 1, practice releasing regret. Oh, I regret that I did this, that, da. Just let it go. Number 2, work on forgiving yourself. Oh my gosh, that's so good. Number 3, I think I was probably 3 or 4 years into my grieving process for that relationship before I actually realized that I needed to forgive myself as much as anything else. Number 3, don't think about the amount of time as lost. So often in relationships, and I don't know why, because I don't think it's, I guess we do it in a lot of areas and aspects of our life. Oh, if I hadn't taken that job, I lost 3 years moving career advancement because I made the wrong choice. Oh, if I didn't start that business, or if I would have started that business sooner, you know, we woulda, shoulda, coulda ourselves practically to death sometimes. But we have to think of what we gained during that time period, what our lessons learned were. Like, if I look back and I say, oh my gosh, I haven't been in a relationship since my divorce, it's been 10 years or whatever, that's time that's just lost. We never lose time. If we focus on the things that we gained during that time, you know, I built businesses, I did a whole lot of positive things, but I want to focus on those positive things, not the things that I lost, and the time that I lost, because guess what? Time's going to go by no matter what we're doing. Number 5, reconnect with who you were outside of the relationship, right? Oh, that was number 4, actually. Number 4 is remember the bad as well as the good. This is true as human beings. We tend to focus on only the good of past relationships, only the good when somebody passes away, which I think when somebody passes away, it's a good thing. But when relationships end, we tend to romanticize and focus only on the good that happened in that relationship, which makes us think that we want that relationship back. We trick ourselves sometimes. We forget all the bad things that caused the relationship to end in the first place. So we want to remember the bad and the good in a balanced perspective so that we're realistic about our expectations in our next relationship. Number 6, create separation. Separate yourself from the relationship. Focus on you for a while and becoming the person you want to be, which this challenge is awesome for, and not worry so much about you having to be connected to another person. Number 7, let yourself feel. Feel all the feelings, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and let them flow through you. Anything we don't feel gets stuck. And if it gets stuck, guess what? It's going to come out in other places, other times, other situations that we don't want it to. Number 9. Oh, number 8, remember I'm not doing very well with my counting today. Magnifying glass is dirty. Number 8, remember the benefits of moving on. And there are many, right? If one relationship ends, no matter what type of relationship it is, nature abhors a vacuum, so you're going to find another relationship. It's inevitable. Number 9, recognize and replace fearful thoughts. Oh, I'm never going to fall in love again. And don't give yourself ultimatums. Oh, I messed up in this relationship, therefore I'm never going to have a relationship again. I definitely said that. I'm never getting married again. I got married once. That was my shot. I'm not going to do it again. And then number 10, embrace the impermanence of life, right? Embrace impermanence. Nothing in life lasts forever. The only things that we can guarantee in our life is that change is going to come. Challenges are going to happen. We're going to die someday, right? Everything else is up to any possibility, infinite possibilities. So embrace that things change all the time, and that's with respect to relationships and people that come in and out of our life especially. People come in and out of our life for a reason and for a season. I think Wayne Dyer said that, but I really like it because it's so true. Think of the people that have impacted your life, and we just did the Lifeline exercise, so we probably brought up some of those that came into your life for just a little bit of time. They had a huge impact, either positive or negative, and benefit from that. So what's our action item today? Our action item today is to think about a relationship, and maybe you've already resolved it, and like I'm doing with my divorce, I'm going through these steps with my divorce in my mind as an exercise today to see if there's little pieces that are still unresolved that I need to let go of and release and move on peacefully, or if I maybe need to work on certain areas a little bit more. Maybe I need to work on self-forgiveness a little more. Maybe I need to work on recognizing and replacing fearful thoughts. I don't know, but I'm going to run through this 10 steps with that particular relationship. So I say pick a relationship today, and even if you think you've resolved it, run through the 10 steps. And if you haven't resolved it, especially pick a relationship to run through the 10 steps. Sometimes we have fallings out with people that we had great relationships with because we change or they change. Usually it's because we change and they don't like the change, or they don't want to come along with the change that we've made. But run through the 10 steps and see if that doesn't shorten your release and grieving process for that relationship, so that you can move on and find the relationships that are right for you. If you got any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow. No idea what we're talking about, but it'll be something with respect to our relationship well-being. If I can help you in any way, ask. Otherwise, see you tomorrow.